Alrighty folks, it's Diecastbuffet here again, and it's time for another custom diecast showcase, and this one is hands down my most favorite custom and my most probably passionate custom I have made, or maybe my second, I don't know, but one thing's for sure, it is my absolute favorite car I have made. Here it is folks, the 2018 Martin Truex Jr. Last Ride Homestead car. My goodness, I have spent so much time making this car, and it is absolutely my favorite one I have made. This car took a tremendous amount of time. It took a absolute tremendous amount of time, and this is a car that I remember, let's just start off from how this build came about. I was watching the Homestead race on my TV, was watching like every other NASCAR fan, just watching it, having a good time. And I was thinking, the rain's coming in, why don't we build a race car? Let's paint something before the rain comes in, let's try to do something. And I was seeing Martin Truex Jr.'s car on there. I was like, man, that's his last race in the 78. And I was thinking, like, I have some black paint, why don't we build something? So sure enough, I ran into my room, grabbed the last Eric Jones chassis I had, ran outside and started spray painting. And sure enough, battling the rain, I had to go outside, spray it, run real quick, grab it, spray it again. I mean, I was just all over the place because it was slightly drizzling. This car was painted while the 78 was on the racetrack during that race. So what the 78 spirit still lives on within this diecast. I built this car long after the race was over, but the paint job was made during that race. And it sat on my table as the race was continuing to go on and see Truex have a shot at it. But this car absolutely was decided within, I would say, maybe 2 or 3 minutes to be. I had the idea for it and said, no, let's go for it, It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to start building this next week. No, I immediately decided then because I wanted to do it. I painted it, and the paint dried, and I slowly started adding decals. Keep in mind, I had to custom build almost every single decal on this car. I didn't go get a template from somebody and say, oh, let's just do that. No, I had to individually get each decal and put it on here. It took a tremendous amount of time, and I cannot put into words how much effort has went into this diecast. So from looking at reference photos like Lionel before they do a 124 scale build or a race win or something, I had to look at many reference photos to get all the decals. Then I have to custom design it. Then I have to properly scale each decal. Then I have to put it on the car. I have to do all this. I had to go buy special clear coat to try to get the closest thing to a satin kind of finish. And I think I honestly did a pretty good job, because if you watched the 78 that night, it wasn't completely just flat. It did have a slight little shine to it, I believe. But I think this gloss looks, or it's not a gloss, but it's, if you can compare it to something like this right here, is straight gloss. That is straight gloss, what I normally use. This is a satin, and as you can see, this is more or less, you can see a light kind of in it. And this you can pretty much see, it's kind of like a wider kind of like mist almost. But I try my hardest to match the actual clear coat kind of look to it. Now, the car does not have the Monster Energy decals or anything like that. Or, I mean, it does have the Monster Energy decal right here, but it doesn't have the spoiler and the splitter. But the thing is, folks, is that I don't like the playoff spoilers, and I don't like the playoff splitters. I don't like the Monster Energy banner. I am an old-fashioned NASCAR fan. I remember when the stock cars didn't have banners. I remember the stock cars, they all had the same splitters in November, and they all have the same splitters in Daytona in February. So, I mean, I don't like to chase spoilers or anything like that, so I don't put them on my cars. I just don't. I just don't. That's just not who I am. So I basically Built this car almost exactly to how it looks, as close as I could get it without using the splitter and the spoiler, and then of course the Monster Energy banner. That's why I like NASCAR Authentic so much, is they don't put name banners and they don't put Monster Energy banners, which I don't like the name banners and I don't like the Monster Energy banner. I just don't like it. It just looks stupid. That's why I don't put it on my customs. It's not because I'm too lazy to. I don't have a problem at all putting them on my cars if I actually like them. I just don't. But I had to custom paint the wheels. I had to custom paint it. That took forever because you're working within such a small radius, and I had to custom paint those, and it just took forever to get them right. I mean, it probably took a solid hour just to get all 4 of those painted. I mean, that's just wheels, folks. That is just wheels. I had to. I made this is my first Gen 5 Buffet custom. I lowered the suspension in it. So I don't know, you won't be able to see, but if you look at, for say, let's see, where's a good comparison? Let me get a Toyota car out real quick, and we'll take Kyle Busch. But as you can see, I can push the rear wheel out, but the rear wheel, if it's a little bit closer, the front wheel is a little bit closer as well. A little bit closer. It's kind of hard to tell here, but I assure you it's actually lowered a little bit, because you can look at it like that, it's a little bit lowered. Then you look at this and it's a little bit higher. I mean, it's not much, but it's a little bit, just a little bit. But I actually lowered it because it won't roll much. That's the thing, it doesn't roll. It's not that the wheels are fixed, it's just the body is so low that it drags. But this is, a custom car. It's not perfect, but I tried to get the suspension as lowered as much as I can. Now, for the interior, I actually went and took the time to custom paint it. As you can see, I custom painted the cockpit area. I painted the steering wheel. It's kind of hard to see here, it really is. But I painted the seat. I painted the shifter. I painted the steering wheel, and I painted the dash. And I even took, I used reference photos, but I even took some red paint, and I actually painted that little box there. Now, I left this part unpainted because on the Toyota Camry, the reference photos I had, that part was a little bit of a lighter shade of gray, so I figured instead of just painting it all black, I'm going to leave that part as much as I can unpainted to kind of give it a little bit more of a kind of contrast and a little bit more detail perhaps. But how to do that? It's such a small scale, and of course I painted the net as well. I did that as best as I could, but this is not a raced version or anything custom. This is simply just based off the car that ran that night in Homestead without the playoff stuff. But I tried really hard to get this car. I tried really hard to make this car as best as I could. I had to go through so much hoops to get the decals. I mean, to get these, it took forever. To get the actual decals for the 2018 decals for the nose and the front, it took, oh my god, it took forever. I was ready to give up. I could not use, old, Camry decals from like 2013. I can't use those. I got to use the best stuff you can get, and it took me forever to find a source for those. But yeah, this car is a piece of work. I tried my hardest to get as much detail as I could. I put in even the little but the race stickers here. It's really hard to see because it's so small, but I actually did put those on the race car. 5 energy. This right here, you can't get this logo like that. You have to go and custom make this. You have to custom make that. You can't get that just how it is. You have to custom make it. It's just So much work, guys. So much work has went into this diecast. I worked hard. I pushed hard to be able to get this car finished in time for y'all because I really wanted y'all to be able to enjoy it as much as I did. And I worked so hard on it, and it's my absolute favorite diecast I have made, and it's one that I will hold in my collection with very, very high honors because I love this car so much. And the thing is, I'm not even a Truex guy. I'm like, I liked him when, you know, he did that DEI, but I don't have anything against him personally. I'm just not a Toyota guy, you know. I'm a Chevrolet guy at heart, but I just felt like it was necessary to make this, as it's such a historical moment in NASCAR history for a team to go from winning the championship to shutting down. That's why I had to make this diecast. And I don't know if Lionel's going to make a 164 of this. I really don't know. I imagine they're going to make a 124, but I don't know about a 164. Do I think they will? I'm going to say I have no clue. I really don't know. I really don't know. But I felt like it was very necessary to make this custom. This car, just, you know, it's one that I took a lot of time to make, but it's one that I absolutely think was very well worth it. I have not, you know, put this much time into a car, besides the Clint Boyer Cub Cadet custom, because that was just, I had to keep changing it, but I just kept investing so much time to be able to make this, and it's just, when you really put time into something and you look back on it and see how it turned out, it's just, it really makes you proud. It really does. And knowing that this is Martin Truex Jr.'s last race with Furniture Row Racing and the last race for Furniture Row Racing, this absolutely, it's a special die cast. And again, I don't know if this is going to be made in 164. I don't know at the time of this video, but I know it's not going to have a custom painted interior, and I know it's not going to have custom painted wheels, and it won't have the 5-hour energy thing. So this diecast, more likely than not, will never be made in 164 because of the 5-hour energy stuff. 124, maybe. 164, I doubt it, because it would literally be like this. I mean, Lionel has made some Martin Truex Jr. cars without it. It would literally be like this. They'd have to put like tracker boats or something on the side, but it just won't look the same. It just won't look the same. So this car will be, you know, one of the few of them in the world right now, and quite possibly ever made. I just really hope y'all enjoyed this diecast as much as I enjoyed making it. And I also hope y'all enjoyed this video too. And speaking of which, if you like this video, smash that like button and smash that subscribe button. Diecastbuffet is all about NASCAR diecasts. It's all about NASCAR gameplay and just anything NASCAR in general. Just smash that subscribe button, I promise you. You won't regret it. And, you know, thank y'all so much for watching. Diecastbuffet, signing off.